So I watched It Chapter 2.
Ah, long time after chapter one.
Chapter 2 was 2019. The first one was like 2017, 16, 17, something like that. Not sure. I don't know. I could look it up. Who cares?
Who
So,
cares?
here are my thoughts on It Chapter 1. I liked the kids.
Mhm.
I like the design of Pennywise, and I like the performance of
Bill.
Bill Skarsgård. And I'm like, which one is it? There's so many of them, and they're all
There's
really
several, and they're
different.
kind of all interchangeable.
I don't know.
No offense, Skarsgårds, but Yar.
One Skarsgård, you see them all. So
I love Stellan.
I
Always will.
enjoyed the first movie. I thought honestly the weak part of the movie was Pennywise, not from a design standpoint, not from a performance standpoint, because I really like the performance, but I just found him unthreatening and ineffectual to our cast. I never felt our cast was in danger because every single scene with them, with one exception, the opening scene with Georgie's death is incredible. That is really well done. Everything else in the movie fell flat for me because he's just, hey kids, wah! And then he charges the camera and he misses, and he does that like 7 times throughout the movie, and it's like he sucks at this. He's just really bad at this. He's a bad clown. But I felt that the kids' performances were so strong and the narrative surrounding them was so compelling that I ended up overall enjoying the film.
Yeah. Okay.
It Chapter 2, I think, is terrible. I
You
think
don't
it's
like the adults?
I don't find it well. I don't dislike the adults. I think all the performers are just fine. I think it was the cast selection was well done. I just don't find the characters themselves compelling, and I found the structure of the movie incredibly boring. I still have the same problems with Pennywise. He's just not an effectual villain. He can't seem to do anything. Although they do have two. They tried to repeat the success of the really incredible Georgie's death scene from the first movie, with the exception of everything about that sequence is phenomenal, except for his first bite on Georgie's arm. Oh my God, I don't know what happened with that. It's like they missed a shot and they had like one day to fill in that. Oh shoot, we forgot to shoot Georgie's arm actually getting bit. Crap. And that's why it looks like absolute garbage. Otherwise, the rest of the scene's great. I swear, I am not kidding. This sounds like hyperbole. I swear it is not. The Saturday Night Live parody of that scene has a better effect. Kate McKinnon biting whoever's arm is literally, again, sounds like hyperbole, not literally a better effect than what's in the movie.
I'll have to look. I don't recall it.
So there's 2 kid attack deaths in It Chapter 2, and both of them are staged really well. There's the one under the bleachers, and then there's the one in the mirror house of mirrors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both are staged really well, but both end in the exact same way, with Pennywise going roar at the camera and biting the kid off camera, and a blood splurt from off camera. Both of them do end in exactly the same way, and it feels like, okay, we wanted to do a kid death, but we didn't want to do it on camera. I'm like, but you did. That's what made the Georgie death so damn impactful, is because you didn't shy away from what was happening. And they do that with both kid attacks in the second movie. But structurally, the biggest problem with the movie is it's incredibly repetitive. In the middle of the movie, the characters are like, okay, in order to beat Pennywise, we need to get our tokens, which it's never described exactly what that is. It seems kind of a nebulous, arbitrary thing. But then it, one by one, in order, it's like, okay, Bill goes to place, finds token, runs from Pennywise. Okay, now Richie goes to place, gets token, runs from Pennywise. Okay, Beverly goes to, and I swear to God, it is the same damn scene 6 times in a row. It is so boring. This movie is like 3 hours long. It is really long.
It's really long. It's
really boring. The structure is incredibly repetitious, and Pennywise almost never comes off to a threat to any of the protagonists, which was a problem in the first movie, but an even bigger problem in this one.
I see that. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be like, yeah, there should have been more kid deaths, but like, he needed to be.
There was just the right amount of kid deaths. They just needed to shoot them proper. They just chickened out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get away with that off-camera stylish stuff once. You do it twice in a row, and you're being cowardly.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate that, 2 kids just died in a gory manner, because you rarely ever see that in horror movies. But
right.
I mean, you just proved that you could do that in the previous movie, and it's a phenomenal, wonderfully affecting scene. The score, the performance, the staging, everything except that one very brief effects shot.
Yeah.
The bit where he grabs his arm and then his maw opens up with teeth and it looks incredible, and then there's just a lunge and a bite. That half-second shot is so unbelievably bad. I might have just cut that out of that one shot. Just cut that one shot, because it's not working. Anyway.
Yeah.
So have you seen it, chapter 2?
I have.
Did you like it any better than I did?
I mean, yes, but I have an innate fear of clowns anyways.
There you go. Still of the design, still of the performance. I just don't think, I just didn't find him to be an actual threat to the protagonist.
But I do understand what you're talking about. Because it especially in the whole, we got to go, relive it so that we can go get whatever this,
it's like a video game. It's just stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
So I do get that. I did enjoy it more than you did, but I completely understand your thoughts about it. I also saw it in a double feature with chapter 1. So I went, that was a long evening at the drive-in.
Yeah, I mean, I saw
that's like 5.5 hours of movie.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
I saw the first one in the theater, so it was probably 5 years between the two for me.
Yeah. So for me, I actually got to, and I had seen it chapter 1 previously, so I rewatched it chapter 1 to watch, and then watched it chapter 2 in order.
I'll tell you one thing that I found really interesting about the second movie, chapter 2. I remember in the book, the dude who gets chucked off the bridge, and then Pennywise, it's in the very beginning of the second movie.
In the very beginning, yeah.
I remember that scene for Adrian or something, I forget his name, but I remember that scene from the book. And I remember the attack being described as Pennywise bites and takes a chunk out of his armpit. And that stuck with me because it's just such a weird place to bite somebody. In the book, Georgie gets his arm torn off at the shoulder, right. I think. Yeah. But this guy gets bit in the armpit, and that always stuck with me because it was so weird. And I always had a hard time visualizing how that would work. But in the movie, I really love the way they visualized it. Pennywise grabs the guy and throws his arm over his shoulder like he's helping someone who's limping walk, and then just turns and opens his maw and then bites essentially here to here. It's his armpit, but it's also like a good chunk of his torso. I'm like, okay, that that actually helps the headcanon a bit. That helps me visualize what the book was
Well,
trying to
you
say.
were also how young when you watched it, and you're thinking
When I read the book,
very specifically
yeah,
this area here.
I mean, because in the book he drags him out of the water. Because I'm imagining him, whether it says it or not. I always had the picture of Adrian or whatever his name is laying flat on his back on the ground, and Pennywise being over him and just munching on his armpit for no good reason.
Old Spice.
So I'm like, that's weird. So the way it's done in the movie is a lot better, and it's because Adrian's kind of conscious, and he's like, oh shit,
Right.
I'm like, because he can see it coming, but he's held in place and can't really do anything. So I liked that sequence. So there's a positive.
I like it. Yeah.
All right. What else do you see in February?
So I saw CODA.
Oh, you did see CODA. Okay.
Yes, I did. So I watched Children of Lesser God first, and then I did watch CODA, and I actually saw it before it won the Oscar, which makes me super happy because I was not able to see a whole bunch of Oscar movies for reasons, life, accessibility, money, all that kind of stuff. So, but I did see CODA, and I liked it a lot, and I do believe that it is deserving of the win. Come at me, and I'll tell you why in a moment. It did. It won Best Picture.
Cool.
So this was so here's the story of CODA, which means Child of Deaf Adult, just in case anyone wanted to know what CODA stands for, because it is an acronym.
I honestly did not know that. Because I'm the music guy, so I was like, why? I wonder why it's called CODA. Is it like
does it repeat
the last section of something?
So that's true too. So CODA, it is about music as well. So
okay.
CODA, the answer is CODA means Child of Deaf Adult, and there is a family that they're fishermen, not very well off, and there's mother and father, son, all deaf, daughter, hearing. And the story follows the daughter, and she wants to have a musical career. She really loves to sing, but she lives with, her parents and her brother who are deaf, so they can't even enjoy her gift. She's also the only hearing one in the family, so she is kind of being used by the family, but not in a way that the family doesn't mean it. That's the thing. They just expect that she's there to be the interpreter for the world, because they don't speak other than sign language, and they really don't. They have chosen kind of sort of not to acclimate to the world, but then at the same time, sometimes the world doesn't acclimate to them. So I can see both sides of that.
Or accommodate them.
Yeah, so there you go. So the daughter is torn between, the love for her family and being there for them and being the person that can help them, but also following her dreams and being an independent woman and going to college and leaving her. So it's about that, and it's a very sweet film. It's very well acted. The male, Troy, last name starts with K. I don't think I can pronounce it at the moment. Mainly because I don't know it offhand. Sorry. He won Best Actor, supporting actor, well deserved as well. So amazing performances. It's subtitled, so there's not the need to.
So all the ASL subtitled.
All the ASL subtitled, and then the singer daughter, she'll sign and speak, or just sign, and that's subtitled too. But there's never oh, you want me to do this? Well, I don't want, it's not narrated like William Hurt did. Right. So, which I love so much more. And there's a scene in the movie that takes place how they are experiencing things. So it's silent, and it's really very moving and cool to be wow, that's they're at a concert and their daughter is singing and everyone is applauding and standing, and then it just goes silent to these three people just kind of not getting to experience the thing that's making their daughter so proud. And it's really heartbreaking, but it's it's very well played.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it won best picture. And anyway, so I do recommend the movie. But anyways, the point is, there was a lot of discussion about it winning best picture because at the end of the day, it's kind of a schmaltzy coming of age drama.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It is exactly a by the numbers. Not that those numbers are bad though. Like there's some really great formulaic movies out there. And this is a great formulaic movie. But it has to do with the deaf community. And that elevates it and puts it somewhere where it is more important right now. So for me, its win was necessary for representation, but it's a good movie. It's not just like one of those, oh, well, we had to give it to this movie, like because XYZ. It earned it. Like it.
Good.
It's important. It's an important movie all around. There's a lot of other things that, about acceptance and about learning your community. Because at the end of the movie, like not to give her anything away, but like she does follow her dreams and the family does become a little bit more integrated into the society. It's still hard and there's still things that they have to learn, but like they really did ostracize themselves because they just relied on someone else to, like we don't have to deal with them and then they don't have to deal with us, that kind of a thing. But, sometimes if you give people a chance, which I know in this day and age is very scary because they will let you down.
What's interesting is my cynicism is listening to your description of the film and my brain is immediately going, okay, that is potentially extraordinarily problematic.
Yeah.
Not necessarily problematic, but it has the potential to be if not handled correctly. I'm like, oh man, I'm nervous about this now.
And it's really good. And
okay.
I do recommend it. It's really good. And I think that they treat, honestly, I think they treat the issue very honestly. And I think that that's what's so great about it.
Okay.
So I am happy.
Cool. I also heard it's a genuinely just charming and funny film. So
and that's the thing. It truly is. Like I said, it might be formulaic and it might be like a coming of age story, but it's okay. There's some great ones out there,
Hey, you know what else is formulaic? Cake recipes.
Yeah, and they're delicious.
Yeah, exactly. Cake's delicious. It's a formula for a reason because it works.
Day, I'll eat it.
It's like, all these recipes, just flour and sugar and eggs. It's the same thing every time. It's like, yeah, because that's what works and makes a delicious cake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what's the difference between a chocolate cake and a strawberry cake? Chocolate and strawberries. Cake is cake.
And I would like to eat them both. Thank you very much. So no, there you go. CODA, all caps, no periods, just CODA.
All right. When I first heard that, I was unaware of the acronym. So when I first heard the title, I figured it like thematically tied in to something to do with the plot, being that it's the beginning of the journey to the end. It's this is the last segment and this is where it starts before we get to the. I'm like, oh man, that actually sounds kind of ominous.
It does. And it's funny that you say that because it does. It's about music as well, but so it's an interesting. If you want to call it a play on words, you can, I guess.
I wonder if the etymology of that acronym has anything to do with the musical notation at all, or if it's just a coincidence.
I honestly 100% think it's just a coincidence. But yeah, there you go. Is
that your last movie of February?
No.
Oh, you have one more?
Okay. One more.
Okay. Well, this is my last movie for February.
Oh my God.
And it's called, we skipped over Spidey, and Uncharted because we'd already talked about them.
Fair enough.
So the last movie I watched in February is called Zero Focus, which is a kind of a noir movie from Japan, 1961.
Okay.
It's about it's about a newlywed who investigates the disappearance of her husband. So we have this couple who gets married, and her husband goes off to do some like business thing, and he's like, I'll be back in a week. You set up our home. I'm gonna finish things at work in this other city, and I'll be back on Tuesday or whatever. Well, Tuesday comes and goes, and he never comes home. And then she calls, and he's like, yeah, he was here, and he left on Sunday. He should be there. And so the movie is her investigation of where her husband went. And in her investigation, she learns that she really didn't know this guy at all. And so cool. That's a great setup. That's a perfectly workable narrative. Unfortunately, this movie is dull as hell.
Wow.
It has,
because that's a really good.
Yeah, it's a fine setup, but this movie has no energy.
And it's called what again?
It's called Zero Focus. At least that's the English title.
All right.
It's the movie lacks scene transitions. Like our protagonist is in point A talking to people about where her husband's like, and she gets a clue, and she's like, I need to go to Burbank or wherever. And I mean, Burbank's not in. Sure. I need to go to Osaka and check out the library where he was last seen. And so what a normal movie would do is you'd have some type of transition, like you'd have the plane flying over the map,
or you'd
have a train chewing across tracks through the countryside, or a taxi cab pulling up to a curb and dropping her off. No, it just cuts to the library in Osaka.
And she's inside.
No, she's inside. I mean, that's where she's going next. They're like, we don't need an establishing shot. We need no transit. Just cut to the library in Osaka.
So they didn't have a B team. There was no B roll.
there was no second unit on this production. I was giggling I was amused while watching the movie, because my headcanon was that the movie was bored with itself and couldn't wait for it to be over. Or like the editor's like, oh my god, this is so boring. Screw it. Just cut straight to the library.
Just get her there. Get her there.
The movie is it's like she didn't teleport. She took a train or a plane or a cab. Who cares? Do you really need? And it's funny because there is a fine art, because I've seen plenty of movies where you'll see a car pull up, and then the person gets out of the car and closes the door and walks around the car and up the driveway and down the walk and knocks on the door and stands there. And then the door opens and then they walk inside. It's like, oh my God, I did not need to see all of that. I appreciate, the car pulling up, but I mean, you can have a car pulling up and then cut to the door opening and be like, hi, that's fine. Again, there's a balance there, but it's so odd that this film has almost no actual transitions. And I was telling myself, yeah, the editor was bored. It's like, yeah, let's chop. Let's get this done.
Wow.
And what's funny is nearly halfway through the movie, the wife confronts the bad guy, like on a cliff, because it turns out her husband's dead. Did he jump off a cliff? Or was he pushed?
Oh, that's like my hunting clip that we're doing.
Oh, yeah, right. So she does the whole Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot thing where she confronts the bad guy on the cliff, and it's like,
on the cliff.
Here's what, because that's where his body was
found.
That's where he
but
pitched
like,
off. It's
If
like,
someone's already fallen to their death from there, I
he
kind
might
of don't
push
want to
you.
be the murderer up there.
So she's like, I'm going to explain everything that happened. And the culprit was you. And the weird thing is, and then but the weird thing is that the culprit goes, no, you're wrong. I'll tell you what really happened. I actually killed 2 additional people. It's like, what? Why would you say that? I mean, it ends up being true. And there's actually these story twists are actually interesting because the first person she kills was completely an accident.
Okay.
And so it's something that kind of spirals out of control and ends up in the death of her husband, kind of a thing. Like she didn't.
So like, I didn't even mean to kill your husband.
Well, she did, but she didn't start out with the intention of that. It kind of spiraled. Again, the movie was boring. It's been several months. I don't remember anymore, but I do remember that it was you who killed my husband. She's like, okay, but you don't have everything right, Miss Smarty Pants. And then she goes and admits to like 2 other people. It's like, oh, why? Again, the actual story is fine. It's kind of interesting, but it is just a very boring movie. Again, it's partially the editing, having no transitions and stuff, and partially just being one of the most low energy films I've ever seen.
It doesn't help that its name is Zero Focus. Like, I don't know. Maybe they took it to heart. They're like,
I don't know. It's kind of laser focused. I mean, there's no fat on this movie. At least it's not very long, as I recall. I think it's fairly short, probably because they cut out all the scene transitions. You know, I mean, I was never confused as to where she ended up, even though it just cut straight there, because it's clear where the clues are pointing her to next. But still, you expect some sort of transition rather than just a hard cut to the next scene. I like what you said. There was no second unit on this movie.
Yeah, no, apparently not.
And the director was like, I ain't shooting this shit. I'm above this. That's above.
Yeah.
I ain't doing the second unit stuff.
I don't do. Yeah. Wow.
The editor's like, where's the second unit footage? Oh, there's no second unit.
That's hilarious.
I'd have to go back and see if there's like a lack of like cutaways and insert shots, other second unit stuff. Or I honestly don't remember, or if it's all like master shots and things like that. There's no inserts, there's no cutaways. Like the editor had nothing to work with.
That's incredible. I like that.
So I'm glad it was more of an interesting. I was more interested thinking the setup is fine premise. The story is actually good, but the movie lacks energy and is boring. It is really what it comes down to. But it is kind of fascinating to think of how this movie was made, because I don't think there was literally no second unit. It feels more than likely that was actually a choice, or it could have been hey, you got to get this movie under 80 minutes kind of a thing, and the director is like, well, I'm not cutting any of my actors.
Yeah, right. Well, then
we can cut the transitions. All the dialogue is gold.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go. Zero Focus, 1961.
All right.
I'm out of movies for February.
Final movie for me, which is actually the first movie I saw in theaters. I went out of order because
in February or in 2022.
In 2022.
Oh, okay.
So technically also in February, but in 2022, the first movie that I saw, I did see Uncharted in theaters. I just started there for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But Licorice Pizza was the first one that I saw in movie theaters. And was I interested in seeing Licorice Pizza? No. It was at the movie theater that I go to, which is a single screen. Mm-hmm. And it was playing, and I was like, well, okay, let's go see Licorice Pizza.
Okay, I only have one question. Is there actually a titular Licorice Pizza?
No.
Okay, this movie's bullshit then.
It's bullshit. No one eats licorice. No one eats pizza.
At least Fried Green Tomatoes had some fried green tomatoes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I haven't seen that either.
There's no licorice. There's no pizza. There's nothing. There's a lot of water beds.
I want my money back.
And let's see, there's water beds and pinball machines and very weird. So the movie
Is
starts
like
out.
Licorice Pizza like the name of an establishment, or
No,
what's with the title?
it's just supposed to be a slice of 70s life. And apparently licorice and pizza were very popular in 70s life. It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. The title means nothing.
Okay,
And
it's
if I have
complete non
missed,
sequitur. All right.
please, anyone in the comments, if you're like, whoa, Kel, you
It feels
missed
like
the entire premise of why it's called licorice pizza. Let me know, because to me, licorice pizza means nothing. Like,
it feels like one of those
nothing.
creative choices where it's like I'm just gonna come up with some arbitrary thing that just so that literary buffs symbolism buffs will just dig into something that's not, licorice pizza, it's a symbolism for this, it's a metaphor for this. It's like, no, I just picked words just to make you just to laugh at you, which
100%.
which is something I did when I was 14. I wrote a story and named it stupid things like I had one that was called like Psychedelic Maelstrom.
I remember
meant
that.
absolutely nothing. And I think I had another.
Yeah.
That's what it was. A weasel gets a mohawk. I had a short, had absolutely nothing to do with weasels or haircuts or anything.
I remember that.
But I called it a weasel gets a mohawk. And I actually got one of my classmates. It's just, the protagonist is the weasel and he's embarrassed, like, because if a weasel got a mohawk, it'd be very embarrassed because of the stupid haircut. So it's talking about how the protagonist is shamed by their inability. I'm like, no, I just picked a stupid title.
Thought it was cute.
Because I was an asshole. Even more one than I am now. I've tapered off in my old age.
So Licorice Pizza starts. So let's talk about the troublesome parts of the show.
Oh, please.
Shall we?
Yeah.
So in essence, it is 100% slice of life.
Slice? Pizza? I think we're starting to draw some connections here.
It's a rope or slice.
There you go.
It's a slice of life that goes on a timeline for a while. So it's a rope of slices. It's a licorice of pizza. The point is there's a boy in high school, little redheaded boy, and he falls for a girl who's working for the place that's taking the senior pictures. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And apparently, here's another thing. I don't listen to music. So the lead character woman is apparently some musician, part of the group Haim, which is a sister act. I don't know them, but to everybody else, they're like, oh my gosh, it's Haim. And I'm like, means zero focus to me.
Quick tangent. Did you watch the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, because someone is pulling 12-hour days.
Oh, okay.
I even asked last night, I was like, are you ready for Obi-Wan? And he was like, and I was
there's I don't think it's spoiling anything to say that there is a musician who stars as one of the characters in one of the episodes. And I didn't recognize him until someone pointed the name. Actually, I think I saw the name in the credits. I'm like,
see, I went
from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I saw the name in the credits, and I was with Ashley, and she's like, "Oh my god, I thought that was," and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, but I did not recognize the dude at all.
So
it's got a very unique name though, so I recognized the name.
Was it Flea?
It was Flea. Yeah, I'm watching the credits. It's like Ewan McGregor and this person and Flea. I'm like, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, really? Is that what he? I don't know.
That's funny.
I mean, I've seen maybe 2 Red Hot Chili Peppers videos in my life, and I haven't seen him in 25 years. So
yeah, it was Under the Bridge, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Now it's water under the bridge because I don't care.
So here's the problem with the movie. There's 2 problems with the movie. Number 1 problem with the movie. First off, it's kind of fun. Like, you do watch these 2 people go through a lot of different coming of age stuff. They work on political campaigns. They start their own businesses. They're like doing things. And of course, because it's the 70s, there's a lot more freedom with kids just like running out and doing things. It's like, so
Give it
it's
away now. That's the only other video I think I've seen
Oh.
of theirs.
oh yeah, right, with the silver tongues or something.
Yeah, it's shot in like
Yeah.
black and white, and they're standing out in the desert, just
Yeah.
jumping around. I don't know. It's a weird video.
There you go. So it's so each little kind of like, and they're not vignettes. It is like a through line, even though it doesn't feel through-ish. It's just vignettes of like different weird things that happen to these people. And there's some amazing cameos in it, and everyone does an amazing job. There's some great cameos in it. There's some moments that you're like, I laughed out loud. There's great things to come of it, but it's just in and of itself, the two things that, and I know I keep going back to the two things that are terrible about it, the timeline, it could be a summer or 4 years. I'm very confused as to how
much time is passing over the course of the events.
Correct. I think.
What was the last? It was the 50 Shades of Grey. Is that the one that had no? It's like, is this happening within a week or several months?
Yeah. It was a week, and I thought it was months. And this one has to be years, but they make it feel like it's the next day. Because they go into several, like, they start a waterbed business, and they're selling waterbeds, and they get things, and they have a storefront. You're talking a good 6 months here, just getting established. Okay. And then she works on a political campaign. Okay, you're talking a good like the whole thing has to be a few years, but no one seems to age, and everything, like, no one seems to grow either. It's like we're still the same sort of mindset. Like, maybe we're getting a little bit more mature, but like I'm like, this can't just be a summer. This isn't just a summer. This is years, right?
Yeah, so to be fair, articulating passage of time is a difficult thing to do in film, but without being really clunky about it. 2 years later, or seeing the pages of a calendar fall,
someone's hair could change.
Yeah,
we could discuss him graduating high school.
Yeah,
we could discuss, like, we've been in this business for 6 months now and nothing's happened. Maybe we should start something. Just little things to give clarity. So time was difficult for me in this film. The other thing was,
it's kind of like Gem and the Holograms. You're like, wait, are we still in the first year? Holy shit. Gem and the Holograms have done a lot in their first year.
Exactly. So the other thing about it is, when she meets him, he's a senior, getting his senior pictures, and he's kind of like chatting her up and being like, oh, I really like you, and la 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 la, and you're pretty, and she's like, ugh. And then she says to him that she's like 24 or something. First off, Ashley and I look at each other and we're like, is she being serious? Is she really 24? Because good for her, she don't look 24. So well done you.
Younger or older?
Yeah.
She looks younger.
Well done you. You don't look 24. Awesome. Good for you. But she says it offhanded, and she's also rebutting his, like, come on. So for me, I'm not married, but like, I could if I ever leave this house and someone decides that this is a piece of what they want, I don't know who the hell, I don't know who that person is, but I travel for work. I could meet people. I could easily just be like, nah, I'm married, and end it. Doesn't mean I am, but it ends it. So like, he's chatting her up and she's like, I'm 24 and you're a high school senior. To me, that ends it. So, but anyways, so Ashley and I are like, is she really 24? Or did she just want to end it? Like, is she older than him? Like, by that much?
How old's the person,
he's
the
a high school
guy?
Senior. So he's
supposed to be 18, right?
So even say he's 18, which I honestly
unless he's been held back for 6 years.
So then she starts hanging out with him because he gets under her skin or whatever. But she's like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out with you as a friend because I'm older than you. And then you realize, I think she is older than him, because she'll talk to her like sister. She's like, do you think it's weird that I hang out with, these high school guys? And you're like, yeah, I do. Yeah, at this moment in your life, fast forward 6 years means nothing. Right
Yeah.
now, 6 means a little bit. Like, get him to
36
21.
and 42, who really cares? 24 and 18,
But get someone to 20. After we're all over 21, we're fine. 21 to 27, totally fine, guys. But we all need to be able to do all the things. Or make it to 25. Then we really can do all the things because we can rent a car by ourselves. So 25 and over, have fun. Anyways, I'm not gonna. Anyways, the point is, so, but like you're just not sure. And then, so she's they become in a relationship, and the movie ends with her telling him that she loves him. He doesn't say it back, by the way. And no, I'm not giving away anything because it doesn't matter. But it's just such a weird, and she'll get jealous of things, and then like it's a really weird movie. But I'm also just like, her specific character arc should really be better, because if she's 24 at the beginning of the movie and like 27 at the end, or 26, even if it's only like a 2-year movie, okay, so fine, you still like this guy who's now 20 and you're 26, maybe I'll, and again, maybe I have their ages wrong, but she does say she's 24. But like the whole time, if you have audience members going, was she like, am I really right? Is she this old? Like, it's just because they're doing things that you're like, I'm so confused. But she is. It turns out that not just the actress, again, she looks great for her age. I think the actress is like 30, but she is supposedly playing a mid-20s and he's playing high school, and there's zero character development. They are who they are.
They're static and unchanging.
They're static, they're unchanging. They go through things and they have reactions to things, but like at the end of the day, it's literally just about it's nothing. It's about nothing.
As slice of life can be, but
slice of life can be. But that's the only thing that's also weird about it, is because it seems so slice of life-ish that it's weird to think that it goes over so many years. It should just be a summer, but it's not.
Was this another one of the Oscar runners, Licorice Pizza?
And I was like,
I think they named it Licorice Pizza just to make dudes like me roll my eyes, because that is I like that mug. That is definitely a title that makes me go, because it makes it sound like, uber pretentious, and
it
Licorice Pizza.
Really does. It really makes it.
Oh no, there's a reason I called it that. You just don't get it.
And good for me for not getting it. I watched your damn movie. Enjoy your money.
Yep.
And then what more do you want from me?
Like, but as far as dating younger guys, my advice as a guy,
you're like, do it.
Well, I'm not a younger guy, but my advice would be to inform you that most guys never mature.
No.
But if on the rare occasions a guy actually does mature, doesn't usually happen till around 35. So yeah, don't date children. And if he's in his 20s, probably still don't bother.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Once we hit 35, then there's a slight chance we may have grown up.
Yeah. So, but all right, so brother, let's do our wrap up, because we actually got through February, and I have to pee, and you have
a Sunday stream to do. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Beyond Reanimator, Teeth, Promising Young Woman, Color Out of Space, I Blame Society, I Am a Ghost, Spidey 1, Spidey 2, Uncharted, Spidey No Way Home, Death on the Nile, It Chapter 2, and Zero Focus. Okay, so trying to think of what my worst of the month would be, the one I don't recommend.
Reanimator. No, zero focus. I really,
the thing is they're all interesting in their own way. I'm gonna go with I think It Chapter 2.
okay.
Because it's just boring. There's watch the first one. A lot of them are like I could have gone with one of the Spidey-Man movies, but it's kind of interesting. It's got Spider-Man in it, so there's some things to like. Teeth is interesting to talk about. Beyond Reanimator has some fun gore.
Okay, that's fair.
It Chapter 2 has some fun setups, but not really. Yeah, I'd say it's probably the most disappointing and boring of the. Even Zero Focus is at least interesting, even though it's really dull. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend It Chapter 2. I think it really drops the ball, especially being a sequel to a movie I did enjoy for the most part. One I really recommend. I actually saw some really interesting movies this month. I think I'm going to go Promising Young Woman.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Just a really good movie. As I talked about in our review, it's a subversion of the rape revenge genre. So if you like the rape revenge genre of film, I think you'll appreciate what it does with it. And if you understandably don't like the rape revenge genre of film, this is one you may actually like, because it's, despite the marketing, it's not actually a rape revenge movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I finally got to see it. Okay. So
all right, I'm going to make it quick because I am bouncing.
Yep.
Okay. Don't watch Uncharted. It's boring. And if you do watch it, you're not going to remember it anyway.
That's true.
Do watch CODA. It won Best Picture, deservedly so. And I think that it's something that should be out there. Okay. There it is.
All right. Excellent. So we will be back another time with our March movies. Until then, friends, happy movie watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.